to the Replayer Podcast. I am the host this week, Pagan, and I'm joined by the lovely Dan, my co-host.
I'm lovely. Hello.
Lovely, yes. And the lovely guests, Maria and Stephanie. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome, guys.
Welcome
friends
back.
of the show. Welcome back, Stephanie. 2 weeks in a row.
Yes. 2 weeks.
We'll be hosting the show soon.
Honestly. Watch out. Just kidding.
I mean, that's what's been happening.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, listen, we'll call you.
Okay.
And Maria, no stranger to the show. So your third time on?
Yeah.
Third time on the show. Good. I like it. Friendly faces.
Yes.
Friendly faces.
Friendly,
All right.
lovely, shining faces.
Yeah. Very shining
Shiny?
faces.
Shiny? No.
Oh shit!
Shiny.
Oh shit! Steph's like, I gotta go.
I didn't mean it like that.
I have to plot. Sorry, we were just talking
I mean,
about makeup
like,
before the show
shiny.
heard.
Ah,
Oh,
yes,
like glowing?
Shiny.
Gotcha.
Shiny.
Not in the oily sense.
No.
Good to know. Good to know. Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. I think we should just dive into this week's topics because there's
Yeah.
quite a lot to get through. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the Ratchet and Clank trailer from Trailer Talk.
Why?
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 Well, because in
But
the
why?
episode, if you've seen the episode,
I mean, that
it's just a whole bunch
game
of
looks
furry
amazing.
conversation,
Yes.
which is actually great. Like I watched the episode on Tuesday and I remembered it differently than obviously it had been edited. And oh my God, Steph, you did such an amazing job with the edit.
Thank you. I was the same way because I remember like before editing it and like I was talking to Drew about it. And so like typically like we'll wait until like Monday to send a first pass. So I was like Friday, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to speed edit this. Like, let's see like if we need to film anything to like, you know, give the game a little justice. And then as I'm editing it, I'm like, this is actually really funny. Like, I mean, it was funny like while recording it.
Yeah.
But it just like in my mind, it just seemed like so much of like a crazy like chaos recording, and then yeah, it was.
I think I felt the same. I feel like in real life when we were recording that, I thought you would have to edit all of that out so that we would have like no content. And I was like, oh my God, this episode's gonna come out with like we didn't talk
5
about
minutes.
the show, like there's nothing going on. But then you edited it so well that I was like, oh my gosh, there is content here. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, Drew.
Yeah.
Drew was like the lifesaver. He was like, I
Yeah.
think the only one
Saving grace.
that had like a lot to say. And I mean, for me, like, I don't really know anything about Ratchet and Clank. And then, yeah, I mean, it was a shit show for me too, because my dog was barking at the start of it. And like, so I missed like some of the trailer.
Romeo?
Yes, Romeo. He's
We
a
know
good
Romeo,
one, but
friend of the show.
Friend of the
Yes.
show, Romeo.
He's a good boy, but he
Yeah.
he always likes to bark when we're filming.
Doggos in general. Doggos
Yeah.
in general. So what? So if anybody didn't see the show, there was a large conversation around furries, and Rule 34 that if there was, if it exists, there's porn of it, as per the Internet Urban Dictionary slang.
Yes.
And they were talking about like if there was like a Ratchet and Clank porn. Of course, there probably is.
There's a
But-
Mario Brothers porn
Oh no.
starring Ron
You would know,
Jeremy.
Dan.
I actually only learned this very recently. I came across a video
really?
on YouTube of like the big top like 7 things about Mario you never knew, and there was like a Mario on Ice show that was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen, more so than the porn. They didn't show all the porn, but they showed clips of it, and it's like, oh my God, this looks so bad but so funny.
How is
my
that
God.
worse? Whale.
Mario on ice. Do.
Just a bunch of
I
people
just
like
don't
dressed.
see how that's gonna work.
There's a bunch of
No.
people dressed in really bad costumes with giant like bobbleheads.
Oh no.
Oh,
it was
no.
it was scary.
I can confirm that there is Ratchet and Clank porn.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you've just Googled it. Did you
Yes,
use
I
it
did.
like incognito browser?
No, it's all
Yeah.
on my phone.
Yes, yeah, I've never, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
They're
It
like,
would've
do you
been the
ever like when
worst
you're
thing I've
googling
Googled.
these? Yeah, like
Mm.
nah. Just the algorithm is what it is now at this stage. You just leave it.
It's fine, whatever.
But as we didn't get much of the to your thoughts of the show, Stephanie, how do you feel on the Ratchet and Clank new game coming out, the Rift Apart?
I mean, yeah, so since I'm still like a noob to the game, but honestly, like just looking at it for like first kind of like point of view and seeing it for the first time, like that thing looks beautiful. And like I'm curious too, like I want to go look and see if there's other trailers to watch, like as far as like gameplay mechanics goes. Because that to me just seems really interesting. Like when we had watched Kena, is it Kena? Or Kena?
Yes.
Kina.
Kena? I mean, for that one, like that was cool. And then seeing Drew like kind of talk about it on Twitter the other day, like about like finally seeing like those gameplay mechanics. Like I'm curious because I mean, I'm amazed at how far gaming has come and just how different it is. And even though like I'm not a gamer, like I'm still like I find that kind of stuff interesting. So like seeing that gameplay, I mean, it looks like a movie. Like it doesn't even look I don't know, like some of the games that you see it, it's like really like poor quality, and you're like, ooh, like it's like the same thing with movies. It's like, oh, I can tell like that's green screen or like what they added in, but this, it's like you can't tell. I couldn't tell what was gameplay and what was not.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that's what those kind of games get really right, I guess. Like
I think it's the animation
the
style.
CGI and like animation style of it all that just melds so well with the cutscenes. That as soon as it's finished, you go into gameplay. It's just beautiful, seamless transitions.
And the colors too. Like that's to me like
So
what
rich and
really
vibrant.
spoke to me.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the show or a fan of the games, Maria? Have you played them before?
I think I may have touched on. Didn't they do it for the stay-at-home play thing? PlayStation released one of them. Was that
They
one of them? There
gave away the remake of the original game.
Yeah.
Through the, I think it's the stay and play program where they gave away like, or was it? No, it was PlayStation Plus Collection.
Yeah, and I
It's the
played that
PlayStation
one.
Plus Collection. That is a remake that came out in 2015 of the original game, which
Okay.
is this one you see behind me.
That's the first time I played it because I've never really been much into like the cutesy platformer games.
Ratchet and Clank is not cutesy at all.
Yeah, well, I played it. And I played it for the first time, and I was like, "This is actually pretty good." And then I saw the trailer talk, and I was like, "Oh shit, son!" And I was like, "Yeah, it actually looks pretty good." So yeah, I'm actually excited for it, especially if the haptic feedback on the controller. I hope they do start
Oh,
doing
it's
stuff
going to
like
be
that.
brilliant.
Yeah,
That's exactly the point that I was trying to make on the show. Because I would love to see how that game feels while you're traversing through the areas and across the environments and stuff. I just think that game is going to utilize it's called the DualSense? Sorry?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
The DualSense controller really, really well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm again kind of like Stephanie. I've never actually played the Ratchet and Clank games. I have played a little bit of one. I think I've played the demo of one actually, but I haven't played any of them sadly yet. But I would definitely be interested in picking this game up.
I think I've played almost all of them except for maybe 2. Maybe.
Really?
Yes.
How did you feel when it was announced? Like what the Rift Apart when it was announced last year?
Well, here's some insight on that. If you remember our episode of the podcast where we did a breakdown of the PlayStation 5 like announcements.
Yeah.
And it was before Ratchet and Clank was officially announced, and I said the one thing that will make me buy a PlayStation 5 is Ratchet and Clank.
Hey.
And then Ratchet and Clank was announced, and I made dang sure to get a PlayStation 5. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fan. I have every game except for like maybe 1 or 2 of them, like the ones I haven't played. And to give people a little background, there are 16 Ratchet and Clank games.
Oh wow, yeah,
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a movie, right?
There is a movie as well, yes.
I haven't actually seen the movie. I think I've
not
seen
the
it
movie I just
advertised.
googled.
No.
I have not actually seen the movie myself either.
That's the R-rated version.
Yes.
Because the
uncut.
movie actually got released to coincide with the remake of the first game. Like that, they kind of made the game almost match the visuals of the movie, and that's where they leaned into like, we're gonna go like full Pixar with this, as far as the animation style goes. But the game has always looked brilliant. Even like, this is the PS2 version of the game running behind me from 2002, like 2004, somewhere around there, I think, when that came out. And even back then, the game is seamless between cutscenes and gameplay. Obviously, the graphics aren't quite as pretty, but it still holds up really well.
So do you still have that on like disc? Or is that like a digital copy? I presume
This
it
is
would be
my
disc in
physical
PlayStation
copy.
2, right?
Like this
Yeah.
is my digital, my disc physical copy running on my PlayStation 2.
Yeah. Man.
Sweet.
I loved all the old games, man. PlayStation 2 was such a
It still holds up today. The old games, they still hold up. Yeah. Ah,
There
there
it
we
Look
go.
at that. Look at those.
There they
Look at
are.
those buttes.
I mean, of course, the punny. I love the titles
You have
like Up
two of
Your
them? Oh,
Arsenal, Going Commando. They're two different games.
Oh, I see. Sorry. That's cool, actually. I really like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never played these games.
Oh,
Like, I've always loved, like,
so
Crash
good.
Bandicoot and Spyro and things like that. So I don't know why Ratchet and Clank was never in my arsenal. Maybe it just, maybe I literally just
Arsenal.
didn't have, like, maybe the funds or something like that to get it on PlayStation 2. And then between the PlayStation 2 era to late PlayStation 3, I didn't play games at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got a PlayStation 3 for my birthday did I get back into it with Uncharted. So, yeah.
I think a lot of the market was flooded with those kind of games though back then. You had like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, it was all the cutesy little creatures and stuff. And I think Ratchet and Clank maybe just fell under the radar a little bit. But yeah, and maybe the reason why I didn't play it.
I don't know if this is like correct of me to say, but it almost felt more mature than the games like Ratchet or Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and maybe that's just why it didn't appeal to me. Like I feel like my friends' older brothers or sisters would be playing it, and I feel like we were all playing like Tekken and Crash Bandicoot and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just appealed to a certain audience that was just slightly older than I was at the time when they came out. But
I mean, if you can to give any more context than that, like when Ratchet and Clank came out, one, it's Insomniac Games who also made Spyro. The Dragon.
Yeah.
So as a fan back then of Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, when the PlayStation 2 came out, I couldn't wait for Jack and Daxter. I was like, oh my god, the next game from the team who made Crash Bandicoot. And then Ratchet and Clank came out, and I was like, huh, that's weird. But it was like a little while later, I realized, oh, this is Insomniac Games, this team that made Spyro. And then it's like, guns. Guns. Everything is guns in that game. I'm like, that's different. You know, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, you know, you don't have guns in those games.
Yes.
And the core focus of the Ratchet and Clank games is blasting the crap out of everything with crazy, ridiculous guns.
Well, that's probably it.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
It looks like such a great game, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I've missed out on it. But then let's face it, I've missed out on a lot of franchises over the years, so I'm sure I can get back into them at any point. But this looks good. This looks really good. I'm really interested to see more about the characters that they're developing in this one and the humor.
Oh, yeah. The humor's always been great in Ratchet and Clank too, and I'm more
really
excited,
good.
I think, than anything about the new Lombax character, Rivet.
Yes,
because the long-running kind of motif in Ratchet and Clank is that Ratchet is the only Lombax.
Only one. Yes,
he's the only one.
Oh,
and so this is the first time there's ever been another Lombax in the series,
which I think is so fascinating because obviously they're in parallel dimension or parallel universe. Because she was like, "Oh, your like your villain or whatever is like this," and she's she's sort of referring to the fact that it's like your world or it's her world or something like that. Really love that. So Rivet is clearly the only Lombax in that universe.
that's cool.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. And that's Jennifer Hale, right?
Yes.
Exciting. Who better to have at the helm? That's fantastic. Yeah, perfect. I mean, I think this looks like a really good game. My favorite part of the trailer probably is where he says, where he's on the desk, and he's like, Clank, and then the guy turns around and he's like, shh. I just thought that was so good. Like that kind of stuff really entertains me.
Those games are so well written.
Yeah.
And there's a character that's a long-running character in the series called Captain Quark, who is very much modeled after Phil Hartman.
Oh.
And you'll feel it as soon as you meet the character. Like this guy is he just oozes Phil Hartman, and he's this he's a big fraud, but he talks a big game. And like over the course of the first few games, you learn that he's a fraud, and then it's like, Quark, like you're just such a big nobody essentially. It's a great running joke in the series.
So is that the one behind you? Is that the first game?
That's the first game, yeah.
Is there a way to still play that like digitally now or anything like on the newer systems, or it's because of the remake you have to play that?
The remake is the best way to play it because I don't think there's a digital version other than what's on the PS3. They did a PS3
Right.
Remaster Collection that has the first 3 games in it.
That's
but
right,
that
yeah.
is only available on the PS3 now.
That's right. Yeah, it's not available on PlayStation Store or anything.
Yeah,
I think
it
I
might
checked it
be-
last year when it was announced. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this will be the original. And then I just couldn't find it, except for like hard copy, I think on eBay
Yeah.
or Amazon or something for PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And that was one of my biggest frustrations when Sony had announced that they were going to shut down like the PS3 and the PS
That's
Vita
right.
stores. Because it's like, how is anyone going to play the old Ratchet
Yeah.
and Clank games unless they physically own them? And then they, of course, backpedaled on that decision. And that's, I see how long that holds out for. But yeah.
I don't imagine too long, like especially with the launch of PS5. I feel like eventually they're just going to close them out, which is
Yeah.
upsetting. But yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's sad though. But yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. But
End of
still,
an
the
era.
nostalgia in me is like, no.
Yeah.
If I have to say anything on that trailer talk episode, though, I actually was going to say I really liked that episode.
Oh, really?
It's a good episode.
It is a good
I have to
episode.
say,
Great.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was a good
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, like I have my trailer talk interest goes one of 2 ways, and a lot of the times, especially if it's a video game trailer for a game that I care about, which you guys have done a few of already, the more you guys talk about the game, the better. Especially with Drew being able to nerd out about the series and PJ
Yeah.
kind of being like, "This looks amazing. I can't tell if it's a movie." Like, obviously, PJ goes on his, I'm
Yes.
assuming, wine-induced tangent.
Yes.
But ultimately, you guys did go into a good enough depth on the game that made me go, cool. I'm glad that they're discussing the game. Nolan was able to give some good perspective, talking about working in the series. Obviously, he was only in the one game.
So far,
So far.
So far.
let's not rule them out.
No.
Of the 16 games, he's been in one. So, but let's not rule him out.
Let's not rule them out. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, then the off stuff, like the tangent-y stuff, was funny and silly enough that I was like, cool. Like, this is entertaining and funny. And it's just like, I don't know where the hell they're going with this, but it's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
I was. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like me and Stephanie felt that in real time. We were
Yeah.
like, I don't know where you're going with this.
I could see the noticeable like
funny.
frustration on both of your faces where you're just kind of like,
Yeah, we were just.
and that I can assume, Pagan, that you were recording that episode late at night because you were talking very softly and trying
Yeah,
to.
I put that in the chat. I didn't comment yet. Actually, I should comment on the video. But yeah, we were recording like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So I was like, hi, I just have to be really quiet because my fiance is asleep. So I'm just going to laugh quietly. But I think like the majority of the time when I was like the whole like it's more where I'm like, Stephanie's gonna have to edit all this out.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, we kept on looking at each other too, like just like totally
Yeah.
just like what? Oh, like
Oh no, it was a great episode, honestly, and they were just in they were in top form. It was very funny. It was a very funny episode. I just was like, we didn't get to talk about the game. Like, what if the fans go mental? And I was super
know.
happy then to see all the comments because all the comments are loving that episode. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I know.
My anxiety can clear.
I think as fans, I think we know what to expect. You know, so it's Nolan
Fair.
and PJ has his sassy moments, and we're watching plastic dinosaurs on the shelf, and so I
Yes.
think I think we're all just like,
Yeah,
we know
that's
what to
fair.
expect, and so anything about actual content about the game is a bonus for us.
Yeah.
So
fair.
yeah,
It was better than the Resident Evil episode as far as the actual
Yes.
discussion of the game. So
Of the
that
game.
that was a plus.
That's fair. I mean, that.
If
Oh,
only
gosh.
Drew's internet didn't die that episode.
Oh,
I
poor
know.
Drew. Poor
Our
Drew.
Drew's internet. It's
Oh.
it's still doing that.
And the funny thing is, he was at the office too. So like,
Yeah.
just
I've,
like he can't win.
I've gotten into the very bad habit that if I'm on a Zoom call with Drew and he starts to freeze in a very funny or compromising position, I have to screenshot it
Oh my gosh.
just for safekeeping. So if I ever want to make a meme, I have the content. And eventually he was
I
like, "If
love
you're gonna
it.
keep screenshotting me, I'm gonna have to turn my camera off." I was like, "I'm sorry, I'll stop now." They're just so good. They're just so good.
There was one yesterday. I forget what we were talking about. And it was
Oh,
something
yeah!
like,
We were in the
and he
members'
froze,
live.
and he was blinking, but he froze like on the like mid blink, and so I was like, Drew's probably like really irritated, like, with whatever we're talking about, like,
I think Nolan said something really racy or something. Like it was like really R-rated.
Yeah.
And you and Nolan like pissed, or you, Nolan, and Drew pissed yourself, and Drew like did this and froze in this kind of like position
Yeah, that's what it was.
with his hands over his mouth, just like this. And I thought he was still laughing until I realized he was frozen. Like for a good 10 minutes, I thought he was just pissing himself laughing. He was frozen.
Oh my god.
This is some real
stuff we have to
insider
deal with.
stuff right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
What happens on the retro replay meetings?
It's very funny. Like everybody could see it yesterday, which was fucking hilarious
Oh, yeah.
on the members live chat. So if you are listening and you're not a member, you can join by hitting the join button on YouTube, or you can go to the membership tab on Retro Replay YouTube channel, and then you can get access to members live chats. So you sit down with us and Nolan once a month. It's good crack. Let's move on to the Retro Replay show, where they had Michelle Morrow back on the show this week as a co-host, which was fantastic. I don't know about you, but I'm loving the co-host episodes.
Oh,
Yes.
it's making me happy. It's making me happy.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, and I liked having Allison on and then having Michelle on too, and so I'm like, who's next? Like,
Right?
I mean,
I
we
think-
can dive into our list of, like, we have our bag of people that we were like, who's going to be on the show? Who can be guests?
Yeah, we have a whole list of people that people over the year and a half or whatever that we've been recording the podcast have recommended to come on the show, or requested, and we're like, yeah, we'll just put them on the list.
Yep.
I think I love seeing Allison and Michelle on the show and on the couch. I think it's really nice to have a female on the couch.
yeah.
For sure.
And like, I don't want to skew any perspectives or anything like that, but I just love to see it. And Allison and Michelle are so funny, and they bring such good energy. So yeah, I loved watching this one. And Michelle picked the games. So the
pick.
games she picked Overcooked 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great pick.
It
Like
is.
so good. Have you guys ever played Overcooked or Overcooked 2? How did that go?
I haven't, but I want to play this now. Like after watching that, I'm like, I need to, and editing it, I need to get my hands on that. That looks like a lot of fun.
I'll play with you.
Yeah.
Fun.
Can you? So there's another question I was going to ask. It looks like it's a couch co-op, and the only way I've ever played Overcooked is a couch co-op.
You can't play
Is
it
there a
online.
way to play it online?
Yes.
Dope.
I've done the online play in Overcooked 2, couch co-op and online at the same time.
Oh, so you have, say, like Brandy would have a controller, and you can play with
Yes.
somebody else who's a third person in it. You can play with up to 4 people,
We
right?
did it where myself and Brandy played online. I mean, her and I were on one console with 2 controllers.
Yeah.
And no, not even. We were on separate consoles, but in the same game online with other friends who were online elsewhere.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
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 And a lot of the same nonsense ensued.
Lots of fire.
Lots of fire. Cleaning dishes. Did you guys have problems with cleaning dishes? Because
Always.
that was my favorite moment.
My favorite.
I just loved when she
Sleep
was like, you have to get the pot, you have to get the pot. It's on. No, it's going to go on
on
fire. And he's
fire.
like, what are you talking about? And then it would go on fire. She's like, great, our whole ship's on fire. Like,
Just
Yeah.
love Drew's commentary too sometimes where he's like, what's that fire in the middle? And Michelle's like, oh crap. Like, and it was like the hot air balloon like flame and you
he was just spouting random pieces of fire everywhere. You're like, oh no.
and they're making salads. Like they weren't even cooking anything. Like
No. I've got to say though, after watching Overcooked 2, I really enjoy like the mechanic of the throw, right? That's only available in Overcooked 2. But I've only played Overcooked 1, and I think I prefer it. It seems a lot simpler in terms of like recipes and stuff. It's like hamburgers and pasta and stuff, whereas they're making sushi. So it just seemed like there was a lot more components to each ingredients. Maybe that was just me looking at it weird. But yeah, I don't know. I think I prefer Overcooked 1, but I enjoy the fact that you can throw it now, and the cooking areas look more dynamic. I'll speak English one day.
One of these days.
oh,
Have you played
Maria, what about you?
No, I haven't played. I should, because me and my husband would get a divorce if we played that game, and it would be hilarious. But it's definitely my kind of game. But no, I haven't played it. It's on the Switch. Is it a Switch game?
Yes.
I think
Okay,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's also on PlayStation and Xbox. Yeah.
There's a new version of it, the all you can eat edition, that's on everything, and I believe it's cross-play even across the board.
Okay.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a go. The part in the episode where he had the potato and he just threw it into the river, and it was just like, what are you doing? It seems like a really fun game.
Yeah.
Poor Nolan. He got stuck with everything. And then the fact that he didn't see he had a second fryer until what was it, the last game that they played?
The last round.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like the second last round, and then he was like, "Okay, let's do it again," because I didn't know there was another fryer.
Right. Yeah.
Like I told you there's another fryer. Oh, that was good.
The beauty of couch co-op.
That was beautiful.
I have thoughts on Maria talking about if her and her husband played that game, they would get divorced, because me and Brandy were told to play that game as well, and they thought the exact same thing. Like, you guys are going to hate each other, you're going to tear each other apart, and we actually got to be a really tight-knit team to the point where we went back through and played all the levels, and we're like, we have to get 3 stars. We have to. And we went back and systematically crushed every level, because we just developed this intense teamwork.
Yeah.
And I only more got the fighting when you're playing a level for the first time and you don't know what you're doing, or when you're playing with new people who don't really know what they're doing, and you get those throwing meat in the river moments, because that was us 100% the first time. I'm so glad they got stuck on 2-1. I'm so happy they made it there, because that is the bane of my existence level in that game, because I can't tell you how many times I had the exact same dialogue of toss me a potato, toss me a chicken, and then just yeet right in the river. No.
Shit.
No.
I like when Nolan is trying to put something down, but he has something in his hands.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to pick something else up at the same time.
I can't get the nuri. Why can't I pick up the nuri? He's like,
that is so funny. He's like, just drop it. Just fucking drop it. And then at the end of one of the rounds or something like that, he's like, "Yeah, this is not getting fun anymore." And she's like, "Oh, why?" And he's like, "Cause I'm upset. I'm getting angry." We were all like, "Yes, rage
feel it."
So let's all get Overcooked 2, and we all do a replayer podcast co-op stream.
Yes.
I would love that. I would love that. Well, speaking of co-op streams, Maria, you guys have just started streaming It Takes Two, right?
Yes.
Yourself and your husband. How are you guys getting on with that? Because I know that is both a couch. That is both couch. It is both a couch co-op game and an online co-op game. So how are you guys getting on?
Pretty well. We did about 2 hours into it. You have to rely on each other, obviously, quite a lot. All the puzzles are one person has to do this and one person has to do that. So it is one of those games that you do have to work together. And we're actually, like Dan said, we're actually working together actually pretty well, surprisingly. We're getting through it pretty quickly. It surprisingly gets hard in that game, though. Mm-hmm. For it being kind of a cutesy, cartoonish game, there's a part in it where there's nails being dropped on you. And I'm like, it's difficult. It gets to the part, but yeah, it's a really good game. I was really looking forward to it, and I saw it first on the Get Good. Liam and Todd, they played it, and I was like, we should play this. And yeah, it's working out really well. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Fun.
And also because they come from the same makers as A Way Out, we really enjoyed A Way Out. So that was the game that was like, yeah, we should get this. But yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, this is one of the most recent co-op games that I saw that I was like, oh wow, this looks incredible. I can't wait to see what this looks like and stream it and play it and everything. I still actually haven't gotten this game. But I just love it, and I love the premise, and I really liked when it was announced, and it looks really, really good. And I don't think I've played a co-op game for a very long time.
They're hard to find. They're like a rare stone these days. And I was looking into this because I'm in the middle of writing an article for Retro Replay website about co-op, and I was looking into the background into co-op and stuff, and some people were saying, developers say, oh, it's not a viable option and it's not worth the game companies getting into and stuff. But then It Takes Two sold over 1 million copies in its first month.
Wow.
So there is a market for it, and so it's unfortunately people are, you know, pushing this the idea of co-op away, thinking it's not an option, but people want it. So we're always, me and my husband are always looking for games, you know, that have co-op in them.
Yeah, I definitely think the market is starved for good co-op games, but that's the key thing is they have to be good co-op games because there's a lot of bad co-op games too.
Yes,
and I think that's what makes it difficult because there's been a couple of games that I myself have purchased under the belief that this should be a fun co-op game, and then the co-op is kind of broken and it's like and it just makes it not worth playing. But I can even say too that like in my days of working at GameStop back in the day, I used to get people coming in all the time being like, me and my girlfriend want a good co-op game, or me and my boyfriend want a good co-op game. Do you have any recommendations? And it's like, not really. I mean, like, what do you like to play? Like, if you like shooters, you know, there's like Halo and Gears of War. Or if you want more like silly, fun, lighthearted, you can do any of the Lego games. The Lego games are great for that.
Yeah,
or you've got like Diablo. Diablo was like one of the main go-tos of, you know, that anyone could pick up and play Diablo, or Lego, like, you know, Harry Potter or Indiana Jones. Those are great.
Yeah, and it's like it's hard to find a co-op game that doesn't have like what we call the little brother mode, where it's like the second player actually has to have an actual impact in the gameplay, and they actually have to be an important part of the gameplay. It's not like, oh, I'm playing the game by myself and I just have this second person helping me, you know. So it's kind of, it's hard to find that game that's like, me and my husband play Borderlands. That's a big one that we've played a lot, and so that's a nice one. But yeah, it's so hard to find that game that you can sit down and play together.
I feel like that was kind of how I felt with the most recent co-op Adam and I ever played was Knack. It has a co-op mode, and it kind of does feel a little bit like that little brother mode, but there are things in it that, like, it's just easier to do when you have co-op. But you can complete the whole game by yourself. You don't need anybody else to help you. So introducing co-op to that was fun, but I wouldn't play that game as a single player. Like, the co-op mode was the best way to play it, and it was good crack. But yeah, I mean, Overcooked is probably the best co-op game I've maybe ever played. And we've done Gears of War, which is really cool, but it's definitely a different vibe, right? Like, Overcooked, I think, adds like a pressure, and there's communication, and like Keep Talking Nobody Explodes is also a fantastic one. That is a cool co-op game, and it's a good party game to play.
I have Castle Crashers on there. Castle Crashers is a fun co-op game too that has a good drive to like continue playing it, whereas Overcooked people might get burned out on because it's very samey, and once you kind of like get the hang of things, it's kind of like you know, like but Castle Crashers is almost more like a Diablo-esque action RPG, but it's very silly and funny if you've ever played it.
I've never played Diablo.
Castle Crashers? That's what I was saying. Castle Crashers.
Well, you said
wait till you play It Takes Two, though. It Takes Two is incredible.
Yeah,
and
it looks really good.
To Maria's point on that too, it literally Takes Two. The way you co-op is very different from most games, because like in Overcooked, everyone can do everything. In It Takes Two, each person has a very specific role in each level, and you have to work together. So it's a very interesting and dynamic co-op experience.
Well, and it's well story driven, right? It's
very much so.
Good story.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of good humor. It's very sweet.
Yeah, we've been trying to, because me and my husband, we stream a lot of retro games, like old school N64 games and stuff, and he's big in the modding community. We've found that there's a lot of mods out there now that are actually making old school retro games split screen. So
cool.
Yes. So we played a while ago Super Mario 64 split screen. The original. Yeah, it was so cool. It was my husband was Mario, I was Luigi, and we went through the entire game together, split screen, and it was the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life. And it was just like, because we went for the whole like the penguin level, you know, with the penguin sliding down, and he was refusing to help me, and he said he was stuck up a tree, and I'm close chasing the penguin, and the penguin sliding down the hill, and I'm like, help me, and he goes, I can't, I'm stuck up a tree. And so it's like he was trolling me because I'd never played the game before. But we found a lot of these, like, we found a lot of mods that are making games into split screen co-ops now, and so it's like it's this nice little niche that's out there, you know, that you can actually find. It's worth looking into.
Yeah, it's opening up the world of, I guess, retro games as co-op as well, which is really cool.
I love
Definitely-
Super Mario. That was my game that I played on like the DS. I loved that game. So like that was one that I think, I forget what level I made it to because it's been so long now. But there's one that I couldn't get past it. And I was so frustrated and I just like set it down and then I don't know what happened. But it's like I went and tried to play it because I found like some like arcade version online to like try to play and it didn't end up working. So so I didn't get very far. But like I don't know. I mean I was looking up just like other co-op games and like I feel like so probably I don't know. I played like Lego, but I never played it with anybody else. Like I was always playing like probably co-op games, but just
I was
as a
gonna
single
ask you
player.
about that stuff too. Like if
I
you
was
play
gonna ask
many
about that
co-op
too.
games.
yeah, because I was gonna say like Lego Indiana Jones was like a game that I played. Like I was addicted to that game.
So good.
It's so good, and I played it on my DS too. So like my DS.
Mhm.
So that was, but I feel like that's the only one. But I don't think I ever really played. Like I was always just kind of playing by myself because I don't know. Like I think like I remember there's one time like one of my friends had like a DS and like we were like chatting like whatever that little chat room thing that Picto Chat. Like, but that's about it. Like I've never really done like co-op games.
See, now we need to fix that.
Yeah, I have Cuphead,
sure.
We gotta play
but
Overcooked.
Oh, you have Cuphead?
Overcooked. I do. It's
a good
That
one.
one's fun. That one's fun. I get very frustrated, but it's.
I
playing
think they
by
gave
myself.
Overcooked 2 on PlayStation Plus a few months ago. Because I
I
have
think
it on
it's on
PlayStation,
Apple.
but I didn't buy it, so.
It's
Oh,
on
probably.
Steam, and it says that you can play Overcooked 2 on Mac, which I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's like so little games that you can actually play on Mac. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do come across one, you're like, yeah, yes, just download this.
I'll
I don't
take
even
it.
care if it's shit, just download it.
I know my friend, he was wanting to try to play, what was it, The Forest?
Oh, yeah.
Together, like, just there's all these different games, and then I'm like looking it up, I'm like, nah, it's PC.
Can't play it on a Mac.
It's like-
The Forest is good. And I must say, like, you can play The Forest on your own as like a single player, but it is not worth your time. Like, I feel like The Forest is made to play with friends. And there's so like I actually want to like I guess preach about The Forest for a little second, because I think that game is really cool in terms of like how you can control the gameplay and everything in the settings. So you can turn off all of the enemies, you can turn off all like kind of stuff so that you can just focus on
Oh, so
building.
it has
or
like
you
a
could,
peaceful mode, kind of like Minecraft.
yeah, exactly. So you can actually turn off all enemies and you could play the whole game by yourself just to play the story, which is cool and it's really interesting. But it is fun to like. So myself, Janine, Tina, and Panda, we would play together and turn off enemies, build a really cool like central hub for ourselves, and then you could turn the enemies back on, and they'll come in waves and stuff like that. And it's just good crack. Like it's just
Nice.
fun to like deal with that shit together.
I made an Ewok village in that
I really
game.
enjoy that. Huh?
I made an Ewok village in that game.
Oh, amazing! Yeah,
As soon as I
quite a
said
lot
you can
of
make
build
tree houses, I'm like, I'm
capability.
building a giant treehouse village.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes forever as well. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, a tree house might take like 15 large tree logs. So you have to go and cut them down and everything, which is great when you have 4 people, because then you can like cut them all together. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good multiplayer game. If you do
That's
ever
on
get it,
PlayStation
Stephanie,
as
you're
well,
more than
too.
welcome to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day when I get a PlayStation.
You still don't have a PlayStation?
Not yet. Not.
Not even a PS4?
Nope.
Oh,
Aw.
man.
I think
What?
Todd just got one. Like, he didn't have one either, and he's only just recently got one.
Did he finally? Because I know he was trying to get one. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I think he was
somebody
trying to
buy
get
him it?
PS5 or something, and then eventually he got PS4. Probably. Probably Maria. Fucking
Probably.
hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Liam probably just got sick of his shit and was like, here!
Take
Have
it. I'm trying to think of other multiplayer games or like co-op games. And I think The Sims for like The Sims 5, they're creating or working on that right now.
That'd be nice.
And
yeah.
I think they're making it so you could play, 'cause that's something people have wanted for a long time, is to be able to play it.
I
Yeah.
would think about
Together.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say that because I think I thought they had already brought out that feature earlier, like they had trialed it. And then I was like, did they? Because I'm so sure I totally tried to play this with somebody else, and then I realized it was probably just an announcement.
Yeah.
Where they put it up to say that they're trialing a multiplayer. They're trying a multiplayer feature based on a mod that came for a Sims 4, where somebody modded the game so they could play with their friends, and they were like, "Huh, that looks really good. We should probably do that."
Because it's a brilliant idea. I mean, and I think it would help them. I mean, because I think like The Sims 3, I felt like they were really good with packs. The Sims 4, like visually, it's a great looking game to me, but like the packs, I don't know. Like I wish they would lump certain things together so it's like not just like supernatural ghosts and like, you know, seances in one pack and then witchcraft and then vampires. Like Sims 3 was a little more like put together, I felt like. And then cars. I miss cars. It's a stupid thing to miss. But like travel, like that was always fun, like in Sims 3, like because you could follow them and like you were always annoyed because you couldn't go into like buildings with them. But like so you get some of that in Sims 4. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping.
I think it's definitely a feature worth bringing in. I think you're right regarding the packs and everything for Sims 4. There's quite a lot of agreement, I guess, in the Sims community that Sims 4 really does like fail in certain packs. Like some people just like, these packs not worth your time. Like here's a list of 10 packs that you just shouldn't get because they're just not worth your time. I know, and it's really bad because they'll have like little you've gotten them all, Stephanie, so you fucked up. Like
actually, there's a few that I don't have. Oh, really? So few.
There you go.
There's like some like toddlers or like children's pack that I'm like, I don't
thank you.
I don't need that.
No.
The thing is, like, they sell you like packs, which Stephanie's talking about, like little things that come with this thing, and that's kind of cool. Like you'll get new outfits and maybe a new area, and that's cool. And then there's like expansion packs where they'll add like Sims University or Sims Parenthood or whatever, and you'll get a whole new neighborhood and everything. So
that's very much where like EA went a little too crazy with the microtransactions, and they get a lot of flack for it.
Well, now they've got kits that have come out, and kits I think are stuff that's like designed by Simmers. I think. But and like those are like $5, like $6, so they're like very inexpensive. But it all adds up.
Yeah. For sure.
I remember there was a website called 7 Deadly Sims, and you could download stuff from the website for free. And it was all like gothy, like looked like the xenomorph from Aliens, and they had like chairs and stuff, and it was like really, and it was all based on like, you know, lust, envy, pride, blah 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 blah, and you'd get like these crazy things.
That's
and
cool.
Your house just looks like H.R. Geiger or some shit.
I love it.
There's quite a massive mod community for Sims, and I think like it's really cool because a lot of them are just like, they're just there to help. Like they just like, I thought this was cool, I built it, you can also have it, it's free. Some stuff that's like a little dodgy, so just beware if you are listening to this and interested, just beware what you're downloading and make sure you have virus protection. But there is stuff out there that like from genuine Sims creators and community on YouTube as well, that they'll create their own mods or get their own mods created for them, and then they'll make that available on their website. So
my favorite thing
does that.
Yes, my favorite thing is the MCC Command Center, or whatever it's called. I love that thing.
Really?
So good. It's like a little mod for the game. So, like if your sim is not like health wise, like all the levels are down, and like you can hit something and it'll make them like happy. So like it just like fixes all of that. It's great.
So it's
the needs.
It does. Well, because it's like toddlers. It's like toddlers were the things we complained about, like at the very start of Sims 4. It's like, where are the toddlers? Why like you have a baby and then the baby ages up to child? Like, where's the toddlers? And then they gave us toddlers, and now I'm like, I kind of was happy not having toddlers.
No, Stephanie, this is the fun of like the Octomom challenge and the 100 baby challenge. The fun of it is having multiple toddlers at the same time.
Oh, it's chaos.
People will just lose their shit. It's very funny to watch.
And then like your kid gets taken away from you, and you're like, why?
No, but if you can imagine now entering like a multiplayer, You wouldn't
Yeah.
need to have those problems because
I would
you
love
know
Sims multiplayer. That would be amazing.
it's only
Like,
fair.
If you could have people
It's
like your
LPA.
friends come to your house and steal your shit, it would be the best thing ever.
Yeah, because all of my Sims somehow, when I randomize their traits, are kleptos. I'm like,
I hate that
why
trait.
are you like a fucking klepto?
I
But what
hate
did you
that
pick up from
trait.
school today? I want to see what you got. Like, can I sell it?
Yeah.
The thing that I've learned too about kleptos is like, so if they're not in your household anymore, or like they come over, they'll take things from your house. And it's
just
not
knock 'em
like
out.
objects, it's like countertops, or like you'll come in and it's like, where's my fridge? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean, I grew up with
That's
people
not
like
a
that.
klepto.
So
That's a thief. Like that's just a full like. It's not even like. And I know kleptos are like thieves, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like a mug or a fucking ashtray. It's a fridge.
No. You took my
Um,
fridge, you took my stove.
I know.
I mean, that's what people I grew up with, really. So I mean, and they just steal your shit. It's all right.
It's all right.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, if you guys want to find out more, or if you are interested in any other multiplayer games or co-op games that we haven't spoken about, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll bring that up next week and have a chat about what you guys liked to play and what you guys think is the best multiplayer game or co-op game at the moment. If you want to read more about Maria and her upcoming article, you can head over to thereplayerpodcast.com where you can find out more on a lot of articles. Dan, did you want to shout out one in particular?
Yes, I very much wanted to shout out one of the recent articles that was posted onto the website. That was an interview with Allison Hayslip, recent,
Last
guest
week's
appearance,
host.
the last couple of episodes. We got to get an interview with Allison that was done by our very own Brandy Brown. And she got to sit down with Allison for a little while and talk with her. And they had an incredibly fun, interesting little chat. So they get into all kinds of things. Her history as a gamer, how Heart Baby Eggplant was created. And you can tell, you can feel the fun in their conversation in the article. And I think people should definitely check that out. And Pagan, last week you had said something about me wanted to talk about like new releases. I was going to say you can always check out new releases on the website because I do a monthly update every month on the Retro Replay website with all the new releases that come out every month.
That's right. At retroreplayShow.com. Head on over. There's some really amazing articles. If you're a member, you're more than welcome to leave comments and engage in the comment section of those articles too. Send us your feedback. We'd love to
Look
know.
forward to Maria's upcoming article.
Yes.
I'm really interested to see this one now about co-op. It's good. Very, very on brand.
Yes, I tried.
With Portal 2 and now Overcooked 2. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. If you are listening and you have any members questions, you can send them over to members@retroreplayShow.com. And if you have any questions for this show, it's thereplayerpodcast@gmail.com. Maria, Stephanie, thank you guys both for coming on. This is your chance to give out any of your social details if you'd like anybody to find you on social media. Maria?
I am Twitter on Pocket Ninja 85 and on Twitch I am twitch.tv/Pocket Ninja 85. I'm just Pocket Ninja everywhere.
Yeah. Love that name.
I love that name too. I was just thinking how
Little
so suitable
ninja.
that name is to you.
Oh
Stephanie, what
my
about
gosh.
you?
For me, I forgot to give this out last time. So I have a Twitch now.
Ooh.
Yay!
Yeah.
But it's hold on one second. It's a Sims thing, I think is what.
Wait, it's
I think
not
there's
judging.
It's a Sims
No,
thing,
I
but it's
know.
all underscores in between every
All underscores,
word,
yes,
right?
I know.
So it's underscore. So
Score.
underscore between every word. It's a It's a
Yes.
Sims thing.
Yes, it's underscore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
We'll put it in the description if you really want to find
it's
out. Absolutely,
confusing,
go follow
but
on Twitch.
and then Twitter and Instagram is judging since day one. So
Judging since day one, right? There's no
Judging?
G? Yeah.
yes, for one.
Judging since
Yes.
day one.
Yes.
But it's pretty simple. And I'm sorry if I don't always I never know who is I've been getting a lot of follow requests on Instagram, so I'm sorry if you've I just don't know who certain people are, and I get some sketchy people sometimes, and I'm like,
I actually have the same thing. I have two Instagrams. I have one that was like a personal account, and then the second is Pagan_plays, like you all know. And
Yeah.
that's more like a public account. And a lot of people will try and follow me on both. And I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but there's a reason the other one is private. So
yeah.
I'm super happy to have you follow me on Pagan_plays on Instagram. Like super happy there. The other one, I won't be giving it out, obviously, so I'll just get more requests. But it's a private account, so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah. And on that note, and I again apologize, Facebook requests, Facebook friend requests, I really don't accept them.
Yeah,
which is
same.
just something that like my family is on Facebook and they're connected to me and they share really weird things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just embarrassing
Yeah.
and it's
No, I
very
get that.
close knit. So, unfortunately, Facebook and the private Insta is not available. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, of course, you can find me streaming on YouTube and Twitch at Stark Evil Vash on both. And I'm Stark Evil Vash on any other platform you might be looking for me, like Instagram, not on Facebook. But I'm Stark Evash, StarkyVash on Twitter, as you can see right here below. And any one of you can do this right now and point at your Twitter handles right now.
There you go. You can find me at Pagan Plays on Twitter and at Pagan_Plays on Instagram and on Twitch. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks everybody at Retro Replay for everything that you do. Without the show, it wouldn't exist, including you, Stephanie.
Thank you for having
Thank
me
you.
again this week.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back, Maria and Stephanie. It's such a pleasure to always have you here. Friends of the show, you're more than welcome to come back as well if you want to keep going with these dumpster fires.
Shooting the shit with Pagan and Dan.
Yeah.
Shooting the shit.
I was going to say next week's trailer talk, but I guess it was this week's trailer talk was one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little foreshadowing.
This coming one.
A little
At the time the episode airs, it would have already aired. So what a great
Yes,
episode!
it was.
So
It was.
So
loved
funny.
it.
It was so funny.
The funniest thing about that one, I think, is like, I don't know if you've included it in the edit, is when PJ was like, oh, all right, we're not at a class at a community college. Can we just
Spoilers.
myself and Drew get into something, and
good.
PJ was like, all right, we're not at a community college.
Let's just
Here,
say we
get
make
into
up for the lack of
basics."
conversation in
In this one. Yeah, there's an awful lot to say in this one.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.